Keith.
Yes.
There was a raging debate on patreon.com/KNM during the watch-along last night.
Ooh, okay.
Some said if I was on life support, you would keep me around and wait for me to give you my wishes before pulling the plug. Others said you would pull instantly. What would you do?
How many opinions do you have about my decor?
I'm in trouble.
Mr. Parris?
I'm in danger.
Oh man, this fires me up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keith and Mike Watch Star Trek Voyager. Today we are seizing the opportunity to talk about Season 1, Episode 4, Phage. Very excited to talk about this episode.
Me too,
Lots of
actually.
crazy stuff happening. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Keith. There's so much happening right now, and this is probably a better discussion to have on our Patreon page over here at patreon.com/KNM, but I'm gonna tease it because Keith and I are very busy. It's been super busy. Now it's like a different kind of super busy, but I got a pocket of time yesterday, and I seized it, and I seized it for the channel. I want to just give some things. So people have been asking. I got not one email, a few emails from folks who are starting the DS9 journey. And all of our DS9 stuff is still available on YouTube, obviously. You can watch every review we did of every episode plus. But I also watched all of the episodes. But the first 2 seasons were stored on we had a whole different system.
For your live watch-along for the patrons. Yes.
And that old system died. And because of the transition to Patreon, those first 2 seasons were dead. Nobody could get to them.
Oh.
Keith and I just did a bunch of spring cleaning and re-archived and cataloged the whole thing, so I had them accessible. So last night I re-uploaded all of Season 1 and 2. So if you've been missing it, it's all there. If you're on the journey, and some folks are starting that journey, I apologize about our quick aging. But
the presidency has aged us.
Additionally, I recognized that for some reason, Season 1, Episode 18 or 19, Dramatis Personae, which is not
Dramatis Personae!
Is lost to antiquity. And because of certain issues Keith and I have, I am going to go back this weekend and do a revisit just to fill the hole. So that'll be available at patreon.com/KNM. I'll try to stream it so folks can join.
I remember it broke.
Yeah, it broke.
Like,
so
it was never up because it never
There's
happened.
another episode in there I'm going to have to redo because the audio of the episode is not available. It's just me talking.
It's just you and mouth.
But
yeah, great.
There's kind of funny, so I might not do that one, and it's not a good episode. But anyway, I'm going to do that. Additionally, thanks to patron Joshua asking us a bunch of times, I finally spun up the Discord server. So if you're a member of our Patreon, you're already a member of the Discord server. There's already crazy kinds of chats and channels and things happening over there. Keith and I know nothing about Discord.
I joined an hour ago.
It's happening over there. People are
like the notifications are out of control.
So I think I will put an invite to the Discord server in the description of this YouTube video. So if you can join as a free member, but to get to the watch-alongs and all that kind of stuff, you definitely want to join the Patreon for as low as $1 up to $500. We capped it at $500, Keith.
We did.
Yeah, because we don't want to we want to gatekeep the ultra rich.
I mean, I don't want to gatekeep their money. I want to keep their money out of politics, not out of my pockets.
Oh, actually, I didn't gatekeep it. That was a joke, and then I realized if you have $1 million, please give it to us.
No. You can't give me all of your money. You have to keep some for yourself, because then I'll feel bad.
So that's happening. Additionally, we owe the patrons a movie watch along coming up.
Yes, we do.
And all kinds of stuff. So lots of fun things happening. Thank you to everyone who's helped us. Thank you to everyone who's been joining the streams. Voyager's rocking so far. Thank you for the engagement on the videos. We're really enjoying it.
And welcome new people who are joining us here for Voyager. I knew that, our core people would come with us, but it's really nice to meet a bunch of new people here for the Voyager journey.
Yeah, and say hello. Say hi. Pop in the comments. Feel free to send an email if you want, or just lurk, whatever you want to do. But we're so happy you're here, and I'm really having a great time. Yeah, you're not.
I listen to podcasts like 40 hours a week, and I think I've sent one email to one show. I got a question onto the NPR Politics podcast once.
Oh, that's cool.
You
never know. For our watch-alongs out there, and other things Keith and I do. In fact, this stream right now is Keith and I stream on the back end so that we can appear real time together for you. That is not a small technical feat to do. We harness a free website called video.ninja to do that, which is hosted by this incredible guy. And we've had some technical issues trying to get our backup stream going. And I just reached out to him, who I imagine is immensely busy. And he wrote me back instantly and for free, consulted with me, helped me out with things, is willing to come and chat with all kinds of stuff. So never hurts.
Incredible.
Never hurts to just reach out and say hey.
Video Ninja is how so if you're wondering from a technical standpoint, and everyone is like skip. But what you are seeing on the screen right now is what we are watching live right now.
Yeah, we don't. Post is completely different. We just worry about audio in post and clipping the crap, which is not.
We see I'm watching Mike in the final product that you are going to see, and that is possible because of our friend at video.ninja.
For free.
Yeah.
He is working towards money, which is good, and we will help him test his architecture so he can.
Aren't we all trying to work towards money?
Yeah. Okay, so that all said, it's all in service of trying to have some people watch us talk about Star Trek Voyager, and thus we should do the titual talking about Star Trek Voyager.
Ooh, the titual talking at the tip of my tongue about the patron comments about last week's episode, time and again. All right, so if you are a patron, which we will stop flogging for a while, at that link there, I'm not even going to say it because I'm already annoyed by us flogging it already.
Me too. That's not good.
If you're one of our patrons, I read your YouTube comment with a 100-word limit, which you guys are amazing at very intricately tracking the words. Much appreciated. If you are a patron and I don't read your comment, it's because I have not made the connection between your name on Patreon. Just say I'm a patron. I will trust you.
Honor system here.
Honor system. Well, this is a very honorable audience. The hosts are deviants, but the audience incredibly honorable. And the first thing is from Mr. Joker, who asks us a question about the same thing. He just says, and you already answered this, but I want people to know.
We have a patron called Mr. Joker?
On YouTube?
Cool.
Who says, missed the live stream. Does it get uploaded for a rewatch?
It does. Generally the night of, so the new 104 is up now. Sometimes it gets late, and I get tie, and I need to go na. So sometimes it's a day late.
Well, when Tucky Mike needs to get tucked in, it might have to be the next morning because he's sleepy. This is very uncomfortable.
Wow, our subs just dropped dramatically. Wait, they're coming back up now. Two different
it's
cams.
A completely different audience.
He has to talk in baby voice now. It's Mike and Keith watch Star Trek in baby voice.
It's like Muppet babies, but like old man babies.
You're Ralph.
Why do they still have a beard? It's weird. All right, so Joshua Gadiso says, this episode squanders, meaning time and again. So I didn't mention, we're talking about last week's episode, time and again. Says this episode squanders a potentially interesting and haunting premise. Instead of having an episode that meditates on the folly of human nature and chosen ignorance concerning the convenience of dangerous energy sources that pose an existential threat, What a great sentence.
Amazing.
We are treated to dull, extended scenes of convincing activists not to carry out their plans and locating subspace fractures. Thematic resonance and character work are traded for typical plot beats that go over well-trodden ground. Next. No notes. That's
yeah, I'll take
smartest
that
thing ever said on this channel.
I'll take that over the episode.
And because he still had 31 words left, it is time for the question of the week. Do you feel the show is utilizing its premise effectively? Being trapped 75 years away from home in the Delta Quadrant and having two distinct ideological factions forced to work together.
I would say no. I would say that the premise is still more interesting than the exploration of the premise. So far, 3 episodes in.
Yeah, and I would say I have no idea yet.
However, I would say things may be changing now.
Yeah, well, there's I mean, especially at the point of this question, we were three episodes in, and yes, I think there's much more work we could have done in those 3 episodes, but for me, it's way too early because each of these, I mean, the crews working together effectively, I could see that should probably be front-loaded because there'll be some sort of a de-escalatory curve happening there as we get used to each other, as we integrate and all of that. So I would sort of front load that if I were, forming the series. But in opposite proportion, the effects of being 75 years away, I think, would be growing. Because, it's like being away from your loved one, for a day. Well, that's great. A week, I kind of miss them. A year, 10 years. I think those things grow with time. So if I was mapping out the series, I would have one do this and one do that as the series goes on. And it's just too early to tell on all of those things.
I will say, though, that based on the premise, what I enjoy so far, and I could be way off, don't tell me, but Deep Space Nine, obviously, if we're looking at it through the lens of like a video game, let's say, the overarching quest is very specific and tied to the side quests. So it was very serialized and very much, generally, the episodes fed directly into that main overview. And that was awesome, and it was kind of groundbreaking, and we loved it for that. This has already showed its hand in saying that, hey, we've made our main quest very large and broad. Thus, we can have sort of smaller explorations and things that aren't directly tied always to that, more kind of week to week, yet still tying in. I'm here for it. It's something different. It gives us much more chance for more silly things and for tonal shifts and for maybe bigger swings, science fiction based, which I'm here for. So if we get there, I'm on board, baby.
Yes. Voyager is definitely, on the whole, more episodic than the very serialized Deep Space Nine, but it's also more thematic than Next Gen was. Next Gen was deeply episodic, and this is a little bit of both because, this week is a perfect example. The larger story definitely is what instigates our episode of the week here. And, because we're out of resources, and so we are searching for resources. Our story this week is the consequence of searching for some of those resources, and things go wrong. So it's a little bit of both, and so I think it does a good job threading halfway in between those two
spoiler
things.
alert for this week. I enjoyed what I like is that it's proven this week proved, at least, let me reserve my comments, we don't give away the whole show. We're not going to just do Quantum Leap every week, which I was getting a little scared about. So cool. I'm on board.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Ellen Girton says, I recall watching this when the series first started and thinking it was interesting, but not entirely good. Couldn't stand the kid, and I'm not really sure what the real role he played in the situation other than to get Parris first annoyed, then shot.
I'll tell you the other role he plays in K&M lore now. So as I was building, I taught myself to build websites this week, and
look at you.
Like CSS to try to get this front-loaded backup stream thing. I went obsessive about it, but I had to I had to like learn about bitrate and all kinds of stuff. In order to do that, I needed to have an episode playing.
Oh, God, yes.
I didn't recognize, because I was so focused on what I was doing, what was happening. But when I kind of cleared from the cloud, 40 hours in, I realized that I just listened to that kid whine. So here's a promise I make. I will never in my lifetime watch that episode again.
You watched that episode probably 30 times. Well,
that is conservative. And I hate myself and that child. Let's move forward.
Amazing. Alan continues, seeing modern weaponry used as space guns really put me off this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. Only 50 caffeinated warp particles from me. Also, guys, am I a commander or a lieutenant? And you know what, Alan? I thought I was just a dummy and put you in both places. You know what? No, that's not true. We have 2 Allens. You, sir, are a commander. We also have a Lieutenant Allen, and we thank you both for your service in this very dark time of people in service. So that explains why Allen's been... In fact, I looked it up. Historically, we have had 3 different Allens over the lifetime of our Patreon.
I know one Allen. I knew one Allen. I know no current Allens outside of Patreon. Remember we went on tour with a guy named Alan Keith? Remember that guy?
I do. He became like a country music star for a hot second.
Did he?
Yeah, he put out like a country album.
Things I didn't expect to learn today.
I didn't expect to see it, but he sure did.
Well, you can watch NASCAR while playing his country album. Just blow the time continuum up entirely.
Fair enough. JD says, this is one of the episodes that I have very mixed feelings about. So on TNG, we saw civilians worked on the Enterprise. I think that while Janeway wanted to integrate the Maquis as crew, she viewed Neelix and Kes as civilian workers on board. Exactly. You put that woman's scream into Trivial Trivia, and it sounds like the opening squelch from House of Pain. Jump around. Mike, will you just give us that squelch?
I don't know what that was, but in my head, it was awesome. But JD sent me that, and dude, it is exactly that. I can't not hear it now.
And that now is, what Mike just did is the mating call for something. I don't know what it is.
I gotta not go to the front door for a while.
I can't wait to see what shows up at your front door. Yes.
Could you please cut that out and do something with it?
Absolutely not. No, that is in forever. Forever. Somebody's got to make that their ringtone. JD continues.
My allergies since the weather's going back and forth, they're killing me.
It was like 80-something here for the last 2 days.
I know, now it's 45.
And the grass started growing, everything's budding, and then it's gonna be 20.
Ugh.
Been weird. JD continues, nope. The Japanese garden is for Starfleet Academy gardens that Boothby cares for, which we have seen and met. The difficulty with this one is the episode. It was an excellent idea, and the cast did excellent for what they had, but the execution was severely lacking. The big issue is that I hate episodes that undo everything in the end. It means that everything we learned along the way is irrelevant to the story. It's 65 terrifyingly gross flirpolas from me. How dare you, sir? Tell Jen happy birthday. I actually kind of like the costumes of the people, but that's me.
I mean, they're cool. I mean,
they're subjective.
They're.
I like the colors. I think the colors, like they match each other well. They go together well.
I always tip my hat to a big swing.
Definitely, it was a big swing. Harry Pothead says 75 bio-neural gel packs. How dare you undermine my flirpolas? This isn't a standout episode or anything like that, but it is pure Star Trek. Come up with a sci-fi wibbly-wobbly at the beginning of the episode to explain why we're going to show how these aliens killed themselves doing exactly what we are doing in reality today. And then, for good measure, give a quasi-solution. I didn't like the solution part of this episode, but it was basically, don't worry about it, everything will be fine. That is indeed Very Star Trek. Also pointed out, don't blame the costume designers, don't blame the set dressers. They do what the producers tell them to. Yes, they do. I think that is fair with the amount of money the producers give them. But the collaboration of the two is what makes greatness, and sometimes makes not greatness.
And it's hard to do it's so funny, by the way. Keith and I happened to stumble upon a Reddit thread that was discussing this show, and the overwhelming sentiment is a 2-hour episode to talk about a 40-minute episode. I'll pass, which totally support that.
Yeah.
But it takes a strong flavor of human to be a part of this team. So thank you for y'all who are watching. But I will say, in order to achieve that 2 hours, we do have to talk about these very specific things. Never blaming, but a shoestring budget and being told by the producers to execute something, you still got to do it. And it may be successful for us, and it may not. So we're going to call it out.
Well, on some level, in order for us to really appreciate the successes, under the same restrictions and the moments of real genius that come out of this show, from the set designers, from the costume designers, and where they really come up with something that is jaw-dropping, you have to also appreciate the whole concept, the whole variety of success levels in order to appreciate the good ones.
Sorry, I know actually I'm on a time level today, or a time constraint, and I'm the one blowing this conversation into oblivion. But, so I'm doing a project, one of my 75 jobs, where I have to rate various High School Musicals on a bell curve, and that bell curve is basically creative intent, right? Not judging the budget, right? So not including the budget. So you have some schools that are so wealthy, and so obviously it's like looking at a Broadway show. And some schools that I saw a show in the inner city last year that was doing Shrek. They couldn't even paint the guy green. They just don't have the money. And so that's not a part of it. And so what do you do in those constraints? Often leads to more awesome creative things. So, to commend my buddy here. Keith does all of this, all of the design for nothing, with nothing. So that is, I appreciate that. The music, everything he does is for nothing, no money. So it can be done, and so we will celebrate the wins even bigger than some of the misses.
This script that I'm working off of was typed on Microsoft Word 2007.
That I'm guessing you didn't pay for.
I will have no comment on that. I will comment that I will not pay a subscription for software. As I say in the show, you monsters. So, anyway. Jason Moe says, Legends of the Fall was still the #1 movie? Hold on to your hat, buddy. Years ago, I fell down the stairs in front of my kids and somehow snapping the light switch off the wall as I fell. I was uninjured, and we still laugh about it sometimes. So in some ways, you could say that Brad Pitt and I are both Legends of the Fall. Okay, this wasn't a good episode. That is a joke befitting this show. I'm not going to say that's good or bad. I'm just saying it is appropriate for our show.
Level set.
Okay, so this wasn't a good episode. The annoying kid later became kind of famous for a small role he had in Dumb and Dumber, and later reprised in Dumb and Dumber 2. I didn't know that.
The 90s.
Our first play. Mike, explain what that bumper is.
We'd like to thank patron The Mysterious Anne for supplying us a bumper that shall be used often for anything that, well...
The 90s.
Yep. So, 35 caffeinated flirpolas, and this makes 100 words. They're perfect.
P.S. Anne, I know you're very needed in your current career. However,
by the way, I just double checked that, and it is true. It is exactly 100 words.
Well done. Should you ever need a side gig, Anne? Voiceover artist? You got it. That's radio voice right there.
That's good voice. Yeah. Absolutely good voice. All right. So I'm literally doing two things at once and trying to
we can
pretend
see.
like I'm not. But it's for the show. It's for the show because I realized I forgot something.
It's that or you're having a stroke, so depends.
I mean, never say it's one or the other. Always could be both. Hold on. Look at that. Boom. Solved. Nailed it. Next up, Hibernation Pod says, I was wondering if at any point, non-canon idea, Janeway would be willing to break the Prime Directive, thinking that if she did, all would be reset, forgotten, and good to go. Or would she still hold true to the policy? In the thought that a reset would give them a chance to hold true afterwards. Which, I think you're talking about this episode in particular, but I'm wondering about the entire series. So let's say we're 5 years into the future, and we've gone through the universe and had all the adventures that they've had, and she had a chance to, which I guess this is more of a, it's not just the Prime Directive, it's like the consequences of all the things that happened in all of the universe, but it's sort of the same thing, right? Would you, or you know what? I'm going to take it out of Janeway. Mike, if you had a chance to snap your fingers and reset everything back to 5 years ago, with the knowledge that you have today, would you do it? Knowing that all the babies born between, 2021 and now and all the life things that had happened, whether you would feel you were ethically allowed to do so even if you wanted to.
Okay, so we're operating under the premise I would want to. Because, I don't know, why would I do that? The past 5 years been all right.
But
for me.
let's say there was something you really didn't want to happen.
I'm gonna punt on this, but I'll put it this way. I'm gonna put it this way, and then we can move forward. Mike's inserting his political commentary right now.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I have come to learn through Trek that the Prime Directive is very much like the Constitution, Keith. It's a pinky swear. It don't really mean a goddamn thing unless the people who are in power to
enforce it,
or not decide to. So there you go.
Yeah, boy. I gave a very bad example because I think the entire universe would love to go back 5 years ago and reset some things.
Yeah, reconsider.
I certainly wouldn't be averse to sending a message back saying, hey dummies, you have any idea what the consequences might be if you make certain decisions?
And I think, okay, let's pivot. The interesting, I always almost unilaterally enjoy when the captains we trust, or maybe people we don't, are given that opportunity to at least, I like that we at least confront those. Every time it comes up, we confront it, and we either agree or disagree, but it always leads to an interesting conversation.
Debating intervention versus non-intervention is the heart of the series.
Yeah, and it's every time Jen and I watch Planet Earth, and she's like, why did the cameraman let that tiger eat that other thing? And I'm like, because that's how you make a documentary.
Well, that's how nature's supposed to play out.
But
it's harder when you see the polar bear starving because we broke the ice. And then you feel like, oh, this is our duty to intervene. This is not the natural course of things. Anyway, that's why I can't watch those. Hibernation continues. Then, Keith's idea about how Chakotay would handle it as a former Maquis, and if that would come into conflict with my weird idea about how Chakotay might not care about the Prime Directive. Anyway, I promised an automatic 100 caffeinated Flirpolas for a 25er episode in honor of the great Flirp.
We'll put an asterisk.
There's no asterisk in the great Flirp.
You can't just give him away because we like Flirp. That doesn't deserve it.
We give away a lot of our money and time just because she's the great Flirp.
That's true.
All right, so next up, we have a great audio message from our new friend and patron, Phage87, who sent this along. You said this to me at like midnight last night, and I was like, but then I woke up enough to listen to it, and it's filled
awesome.
me with joy.
I forgot to load it in, but I'm hoping. Hold on, I'm going to do it real fast.
I believe in you.
Yep, I'm going to do it real fast. And it should now work, I think.
Incoming transmission.
Brunt, FCA.
It's on one channel, but...
Oh, get out here, Brunt. It's the wrong show.
That's a very good impression.
That guy's really everywhere, isn't he? Anywho, patron member Phage87 here, reporting from the USS Finland in the European Quadrant. I just really wanted to thank you guys for your insightful discussions and your really hilarious entertainment. Really helps my night shifts pass by quicker, let me tell you. I'm kind of pulling double duty at the moment as I'm watching your guys' review of DS9 Season 7. Kind of sad it's going to end soon, because I've been really enjoying it. And obviously I'm also listening to the Voyager reviews, but I really just wanted to tell you guys that keep up the great work and never change. Computer in transmission.
Unable to comply. Warning. Self-destruct sequence has been initiated. Warp core overload in 4 minutes 55 seconds.
And that's where I paused it because I don't want to get a strike.
That is fantastic. Phage87, welcome. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. I know you've been with us for a while, but thank you, because this is the first we've heard from you directly from Finland.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. We love Finland. I'm a Bruins fan, so Tuukka Rask is near to my heart. Finnish goalie. I don't know if you follow sports.
Yeah, I hate to I don't hate. Keith and I've done more vulnerable things, but I will say I appreciate literally every one of you. But when we hear from people far away like Finland, and then I got a vinyl record in the mail from Germany, from a friend from Justine from Germany, it makes me cry. Like I can't explain how much it means to me. It just makes me cry. So thank you. That message I got last night, I know Keith goes to bed early. I sent it to him. I was like, wake up, watch it, listen to it. It's so cool. We appreciate everybody. It's awesome. Thanks for joining the community. And I hope,
And I hope our nonsense helps get you through the night shift, because I've done some night shifts, and that is really glad to be helping fill your ears. I was going to say you shouldn't listen to 2 of our shows at once. That's too much of us. But then, those hours at work.
A lot of people, we get through the night shift. We help some people sleep. I'm seeing a trend.
This is you should only be listening to us under the cover of dark. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you take one of those? What's that heavy medication that like makes people sleepwalk? Do you take Lunesta?
Ambien.
Yeah, Ambien and Lunesta. They should just give our pod with it. Try this first.
Great. But anyway, thank you, Phage. See, I thought Phage87 was like a reference to like the 87 Bears or 85 Bears of Refrigerator Perry, but no, it's from Finland. That's fantastic. So happy to have you.
Yeah, there's a lyric from a Radiohead song. He buzzes like a fridge. So maybe maybe that's, I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. And lastly, we got sent something majestic from the Mysterious family. So I believe in the first episode, Mysterious Ann wrote in and gave us some lyrics to sing to in the opening theme song for Star Trek Voyager. And we're like, well, I'm not entirely sure how this song goes or how you set these lyrics. Well, luckily, these lyrics were composed and originally performed by the Mysterious Matriarch. And guess what? The Mysterious Matriarch and the Mysterious Patriarch collaborated to allow us to hear this and see this performed live. And I have altered the visual look of it so we don't get a YouTube strike. Also to show our enthusiasm, but mainly so we don't get a YouTube strike for showing
one and the same.
The beginning. So, folks, please listen to the unofficial national anthem of Keith and Mike. Watch Star Trek Voyager.
I'm lost, we are lost. We are very, very lost. We're lost in space. We're really lost, very lost in space. Though we'll get back in 7 years or less. For now we're lost, very lost in space.
I mean,
I almost cried again. What's going on?
I think you didn't know it when you made that composition in 1995. It actually more applies to these two idiots than it does the show Star Trek Voyager.
Keith, can I just say?
The 90s.
I mean, thank you so much for recording and sending that. That brings us all
It won't be the last time we see it. It won't be the last time we see it.
Also, clearly a singer.
Yeah.
Did
you modify the pitch?
No, dead on, locked in, 100%. Anyway, thank you so much for that. That was a joy. And I don't think I will ever be able to hear the theme song without hearing those lyrics with it. So, the patrons maybe should sing along with that on the next watch along.
Yeah, 100%.
So, thank you, Mysterious Family.
That might be the intro to the watch alongs from now on.
Maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe you play it over the credits when they roll.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the right thing to do. Okay, so finally, let us talk about Phage. This is Season 1, Episode 4, which aired on February 6th, 1995. We're almost synced up. We're only about a month off. We're going to catch up, maybe. No, we won't. We never will.
That's not how that happens.
No. The top song was everybody's favorite song.
Is it Shoopa Creep?
Creep-a Deep by TLC.
Creep-a-deep.
Deep-a-deep. Creep-a-deep.
Still not sure how that goes.
That's not that. I'm a creep.
I'm a super dupe. What the hell is wrong with us?
It's because we're lost in space, Mike.
Yeah,
I think
so very lost.
That is the problem. Jason Moe, this is just for you. The top movie, still, Legends of the Fall. In the 4th week of domination, if I had thought about it, I would have photoshopped Jason Moe falling, tripping down the field there, but I didn't. Oh god,
it doesn't work. No,
it doesn't work. No,
yeah.
That's why I put it over.
Yeah,
it was never gonna happen.
Found you.
So still number 1, the top magazine cover, folks. Get ready. We are about to begin the OJ trial, or I guess we are beginning the OJ trial, folks. If you weren't around in 1995,
it was reality. This was the start of reality TV.
It was
our obsession with reality TV, our obsession with crime. This is it. This was
there
the
was a
original
lot of crime of the centuries. This was the first one broadcast live.
That's what I'm saying. This was the one. Yeah. This was like everybody's. What was the thing that blew up the crime podcasts? Serial. This was like Serial. This was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was 15. Not even. I was 14, and I was hook, line, and sinker. Mostly because we had 2 TVs, and this was on it all the time. My dad was obsessed.
I think we watched The Verdict in school. I think they wheeled out a TV to let us watch The Verdict.
The Challenger blowing up.
That's right. We watched the Challenger blow up
Any
live.
explosion or national travesty, we watched on television live because it traumatized the kids.
Yeah. That's what they did to us. Yeah.
There was 2 times the TV got wheeled out. When there was a substitute and they didn't want to teach, so you watched The Simpsons. And we had a cool teacher, I gotta say. Or a film strip. Remember film strips?
Sure, yeah.
When it was a substitute. Or when OJ got to walk. But, it all worked out for OJ, so.
Yeah, all worked out for all of us. My nephew couldn't leave his school yesterday because of ice. So,
cool.
Yeah, great. Anyway, so that was happening in Time Magazine. This episode was directed by Weinrich Colby. Back from Caretaker. So, came back just 3 episodes later To direct this episode, it was written by Brennan Braga and Sky Dent. Sky Dent also created the story to this. This is Sky's only Trek credit.
Well done, Sky.
One of those pitches or staff writers just didn't get onto another episode. So now it's time for silence. Now Keith, waste your time.
Should have anticipated that better.
With trivia. You know what that was? That was an accidental prank on anybody listening to this with earbuds. Because there was an awkward silence, and so they turned it up. Oh, maybe I'm missing it. Oh God. And then we screamed at them with our bumper. So, wow, in lots of different ways. So, actually shown nicely here, the exterior of the asteroid that the Viddians used for cover in this episode was a 6-foot painted hunk of acetone-etched styrofoam.
Awesome.
And you know what? And folks, practical. That's why it looks so damn good. Looked great because it was real.
I don't know if I got a screenshot of it. I hope I did. There's that one awesome shot in this episode where they do all the laser lights beaming mirror effect to find the ship. That was a crazy effect too.
Cool.
I imagine
really
that was part practical with a model or something. It had to be.
Well, the ships were models at this point.
So that was cool.
Really cool. So, but this asteroid had been previously used to represent the asteroid Gamma 601 in the Pegasus on Next Generation.
Gamma 24601?
Gamma 24601, for which the model had been created. Joe Bauer, the visual effects supervisor on both this episode and earlier on Next Gen, simply used a different side of the asteroid model for this outing. However, other shots of the asteroid in this instrument incorporate stock effects footage that were previously used in the Pegasus. So what was great is you still have this, you shoot the styrofoam thingy, and you had the Enterprise. Well, all you do is take out the Enterprise, put Voyager, and you can reduce, reuse, recycle. The subterranean Viddian corridor also...
You're not supposed to know this, but you've been on the show before! Keith, can you find me that bumper and put it in the Voyager stuff someday? Because it's in the show. I just decided.
Okay, all right.
Whenever we reuse a set or reuse an actor, it's back in. It's one of your finest works.
It's, of all the things in the universe I'd like to be known for.
Now, granted, it mentions lawyers and stuff, but we'll let that go.
Yada, yada, yada. It'll be fine. But here we go. The subterranean Viddian corridor was a reuse of the hidden corridor that the crew members find behind the holographic barn in Caretaker.
We're not supposed to know this, but you've been on the show before. But Mike picked a higher key, and he's gotta see it through.
I mean, that is so painful in so many different ways. Especially,
I got the vocal phage now.
But this is the best part, because only Mike and I even know what you're referencing. You're doing a parody of something nobody has ever seen.
But now you get twice the residuals banging at your door. So welcome back to the practice with something shibbity-ba-da.
I'm turning you down.
Folks, if you're just joining the stream, this is it. This is it.
We're
back, baby. We're back.
You are this close to getting muted, and I'm just gonna wait for your mouth to stop moving.
We played nice the first 3 episodes, but now we're back, baby.
Oh my God! I think I have it here. I have Mike is thirsty. Remember that one?
Mike is. Hey, it hasn't changed. I found my new Keiko, Keith, this week. We're gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. All right. So I'm going to read the next thing, but the bumper is now in this episode's folder.
Thank you.
Or it will be shortly. Vaforans.
You just died vocally. Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
You're back.
Dareth clearly mouths the word Vaforan in Voyager's transporter room, Evidently, Viddian was subsequently looped over it. Broadcast closed captions of the episode also use Vaforan. The change from that collective term to Viddians was made because it was realized that no two performers could pronounce Zaforan in the same way. So this is a Star Trek problem, and I always struggle with this because all these weird names and stuff. I believe the rule on Star Trek was whoever said it first, that became the standard thing. But they had to change it for this. It's interesting because if you do watch, you can see that it's ADR'd.
Oh, interesting.
From Vaforan to Viddians.
I remember hearing an ADR or seeing one. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, I think that probably was at least one of them. Because, yeah, I said that. Makeup supervisor Michael Westmore designed the final look for the Viddians. Off the starting point for the alien designs, he noted, the script for Phage explains that these were a race of people from whose skin and organs were rotting, and that they had to collect skin and organs from around the universe to preserve their race. Ultimately, despite each Viddian's head resembling a patchwork quilt of alien skins, Westmore decided to merely use a single mask for each Viddian, each mask covering their respective wearer's entire head. The different skin textures were sculpted onto each mask, then painted with a variety of colors. It was all sculpted into one piece with different textures. Westmore, so it looked like overlapping chunks of stuff. Ugh. The actors also wear dentures and contact lenses.
Yeah.
But the makeup design was great.
Awesome. And what I thought was really, really cool, and I subtly noticed, I wonder if you did too. So because of the prosthetic and because of the dentures, the first one of the two actors made a very distinct vocal choice. Obviously, you can hear the muffle, you can hear what is being affected by the mask, but then they use that, they leverage that to make a very distinct vocal affectation that is then matched by the other actor. So I can just picture in hair and makeup them being like, all right, we need to come up with a unit of how are we gonna, what is our dialect that incorporates what we have to overcome physically, the challenge. And I just think that's such a subtle, I guarantee you that happened. And it's not always direction. There's not always time to do that. So these actors probably in fitting made a decision together, and I thought it was really cool.
Well, it's a perfect example of your limitations can be opportunities sometimes. And so battling the teeth of it all, which is the same thing, Quark had to deal with, and like Worf had to wear an appliance. It changes the way you talk, and that can be distinctive and make it interesting. So it can be a win for you. So speaking of the people who made those decisions on how to chew this costume, were our guest stars, including Cully Fredrickson as Dareth, Stephen B. Rappaport as Matura, Martha Hackett back as Seska, with, of course, Majel Barrett as the voice of the computer. Now it is time to hear from the voice of the people who are blowing up my phone on Discord, our good friends, the
But
Patrons.
Keith, you put this in there. Shouldn't we talk about that?
Oh, right. Yeah. So this is, if we finally get our first shot of Weinrich Colby directing this episode, teaching Neelix how to Neelix with all the food there in the type of sweater I was also 100% wearing in 1995.
The 90s.
Yes.
And now the people who help us buy our sweater that we don't fit into.
Never did.
They are the patrons. We would like to thank Brian Kilmer-Biersick, Jamie Lubin, Jason Moe, Deborah Peter Bank Holmes. Thank you. The commanders, Joshua Cronin, DC Anton Thies, Mike Allen Girton, Fridge87, and the lieutenants, Andrew Hayes, Alan, The Mysterious Household, Worf's Big Ol' Boot Ships, Charles Babbage, John Kelly, Keith Blank, Casey Alexander, Harry Pothead, Carl Fisher, Alan Girton, Deborah Scott, Tren, Odo's Bucket, Goo Babies, Peter Howie, and Quark's Bar. The ensigns! You might get blowed up. Scotty B, Merritt Neath, Harley Broken Composer, Byron Woosley, AI Sausage, Yum Yum, Ben B, Bob, Miles Davis, Jamie Rayborn, April H, Joe Saporito, John K, Brian from Video Game Drive-By, Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky, YouTube viewer, Hibernation Pod, Miri Holcomb, Rogue Knight, Lead Behind the Wall, Michael Champion, Andrew Ferry, Jan Babiga Boy, Sanjil, Aroha, Brian Salas, Bloody Clown, Logan Fine. Logan, thanks for joining the watch along. Academy members, Engineer Maynard, Jerome Gibson, April H, James Hubbard, Robo Ethical, Chanel, Laura Morrison, Bob, NCC, Bolian Pursuit, Bolian, Lutz, Kramer, White, Eldridge, Kevin Miles, Ryan Caputo, Old Guys Eating Oatmeal, Kelly Graybeard, Fedora the Explorer, Barsha Michael Champion, Fire and Blood Wine, Christopher Martin, Chris, Admiral Funniest Frontier, Joshua CLG, Bendy, Samuel A. Smith, and the Ho Santas, JD Meigs, Colin Dagan, Chris Mitchell, CRM Productions, Joshua Cronin, Kevin Miles, Justine, and the Chancellor, Jen. And how about that Hall of Fame?
Yes, of course, our Hall of Fame members include Casey Clark, Brian Kaufman, Jason Moe, Joshua Cronin, The Mysterious Hand, Worf's Big Ol' Boot Shifts, Colin Dagan, Quark's Bar, Peter Benke, CRM Productions, Jennifer Massanova, Cloud Lovers 69, and Charles Babbage, Kevin Miles, Frank Rinch, Brian Kimball Biersack, JD and JD Makes, Ryan Chesley, Yanba, Anton Thies, Merritt Neath, Jamie Lubin, Mike, Nikolai Ivanovich Lobacheski, Alan, and Carl Fisher.
You can join the team at patreon.com/KNM. You make it all worth it, especially this bumper.
Wow, those facial expressions are deeply unhinged.
Well, you got to see them all in play today, baby.
That is what we are here for. All right, Phage, we're 4 episodes in. Let's do this. We begin, and we discover that Neelix has set us on course for a rogue planet that apparently has considerable stores of dilithium. This is important because it's our primary energy source, and we are low on it. They're going to have to set up a refinery, a dilithium refinery, on the ship, which is B'Elanna's idea, already making herself useful as our chief engineer. Janeway and Chakotay go to the captain's private dining room for breakfast. They are still stuck eating rations, which is an interesting... See, on the Enterprise D, it was so freaking cushy. You had all unlimited holodecks, you had unlimited food and all these things, and here they are eating MREs on the ship.
And close talking in 4x3.
And close talking in 4x3. I mean, that's the best part about living in the century that we live in, is that, you know, we can talk to each other and not be practically kissing with everyone on television. So, they discover, when they go to the captain's private dining room, which is impressive that the captain has a private dining room on a ship this size, but discover that Neelix has broken in and converted it into a kitchen, and he is chaotically cooking various vegetables from the hydroponic bay for the crew. The hydroponic bay has grown stuff real fast.
Yeah, wilty lettuce.
Wilty things, because, you know, the lights are bright and
They're
hot.
You know, it's the future, but we don't have a smoke alarm.
Do not have a smoke alarm or good air filtration.
We got practical fire, though, that is clearly in a little thing that's in front of those things, but, you know.
That's some real fire.
Uh-huh.
Gotta appreciate that. So Janeway is naturally pissed because Neelix went rogue and the mess is filled with smoke.
Well, don't give him a key.
I don't think he has a key. I think he hacked. He's a little shifty. You know, he hacked into the captain's mess. But before they can make a plan, the ship has arrived at the planetoid. The dilithium is in a cave system deep under the surface. Chakotay and Kim beam down to search. Neelix, always enthusiastic, invites himself on the trip.
You know, Keith, I've come to learn, if you are not one of the main crew and you insert yourself into an away mission, you're in trouble.
You are deeply in trouble. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they let anybody go on the away missions that just ask. But in this case, Neelix, as the person who said, you know, this is where you get your dilithium, that makes more sense that he comes along.
Keith, you know, he's serving me is a little bit... Remember the character Rosie O'Donnell played in the Tarzan animated show? Turk, I think it was?
Turk.
Serving me a little Turk.
Yes. Rosie O'Donnell played that role.
Yeah.
That's...
Also, someone wrote in and said they're like that Neelix is Voyager's Snarf. Do you remember Snarf from Thundercats?
Thundercats, I do believe, was on NBC, and I did not get NBC.
Let's see if we can pull that up and see if we agree. Oh, That's actually pretty good. Snarf was like a perennial troublemaker.
Uh-huh. To me, he feels more like Widget the World Watcher.
Yeah, I can see it. Hold on,
You
let's
ever
see.
watch that one?
Let's pull Snarf in.
Let's plus Snarf. Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm seeing it. Let me pull it up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yep. Totally get that. So, yeah, and I will say that this episode you get a really good chance to appreciate the makeup effects.
Yeah.
That Westmore did.
And clearly contacts.
Definitely contacts. Yeah. And teeth and the whole deal. So, they do beam over and we arrive in the cave set. Always, thankfully, with very flat floors. Mm-hmm. They, just like every cave. They split up and begin the search. But we see a holographic wall disappear, revealing a corridor. And somebody is hunting them.
Spooky, spooky.
Spooky, spooky. So in Act 1, Chakotay and Kim are searching. They keep picking up dilithium on their scanners, but they can't find it anywhere.
Keith, what's your take? I know it's super simple, but wrist flashlight with a good hazer going really works for me. I love this.
I think it looks. Anytime you add haze and flashlights, it just looks cool.
It's sort of like.
It looks expensive, even though it's not.
My favorite part. I hate to say it. It sounds shady. My favorite part of Strange New Worlds, which is their away uniform with this, like the shoulder-mounted headlamps.
I mean, honestly, the place that makes the most sense to put it is your head, right? But it just looks bad on TV, and you couldn't mount it on Neelix's appliance forehead stuff. So I think it looks good. I also think that, and I've used this on stage a few times, you add haze and a flashlight, it looks expensive. Mm-hmm. Make it really dark, add haze, add a flashlight. Even if you're in the basement of some horrible place for free, it still looks cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, LED lights has changed the game. Like LED lighting with a little bit of haze or whatnot. You know, Keith and I did a show. Keith did a one-man show not long ago. And
right.
Just a little bit of LED flash at the bottom can class up the joint. Yeah,
that's right, and it's very cheap now. It's very doable. And now they're in the basement. So anyway, Neelix, separated from the group, of course, finds a large cavern. Chakotay tells him to wait for the other two, but Neelix ignores him and presses forward. Chekhov's ignoring and pressing forward. The holographic wall disappears. And you ready for the bumper? He walks down the same hallway as the power plant from last week, but lit completely differently.
Oh my goodness, our first chance to play it, Keith.
First chance.
Hey, Jen! Chancellor, what's up?
Thank you for coffee.
Hey, Chancellor, let's see the new hairdo. Oh, nice. You want to show it on camera? No, she says no. Okay.
Jen got a new hairdo. How exciting.
She did.
Did you go with the Neelix?
She went with the Neelix, which is why I think she's not showing it on camera.
Sure, understandable.
Let me see. I want to play this. You ready for it?
Yeah.
It's going to be loud as hell. Hold on.
Yes, it is. Always is.
Keith always normalizes.
We're not supposed to notice that you've been on the show before, but now you get twice the residuals arriving at your door. So welcome back to the
Voyager.
I'll pretend that I don't recognize that I saw you in season
Last
2
week.
and you met your demise. At first you were a killer, but now you said first appearance mainly filler, but you had to go to you may be fooling someone dimmer, but you don't fool me. We're not here to judge, but you just might be. Welcome back to the
Voyager tonight.
There it is. So this hallway was the climactic hallway last week. That said, if I didn't know that going in, I never would have noticed, because you can do so much with lighting.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I didn't know that. It looks awesome. It looks awesome.
Looks fantastic. And this is where, as people from the stage, you can do so much with one set. You just keep changing the angles and change the lighting, and it can be anything. And it's really, this is where the budgetary limitations didn't set us back. It gave us an opportunity to be creative and find new interesting angles and lights, because even shooting it dead on, they never shot it dead on last episode. It was always at an angle this way, so you just make it look completely different. Awesome. Love it.
No notes.
No notes. He is then zapped by the shadowy creature and screams. And it kind of a pretty scary, like, in the light. So then Chakotay and Kim find him, and he can't breathe and is writhing around on the ground. They beam him into sickbay, and the doctor springs to action. They discover that his lungs have been removed. Uh-oh. That is not a relaxing thing to have happen.
Yeah, so first gold star from Mike. Oh, the guy from the away team mission is going to go down, and he's either going to be comedically messing everything up, or he's going to get injured right away, and then he's like... And obviously we can't feel like that. It's the 4th episode of the season. He's listed in the credits. Not like they're going to kill him, so it's like, oh,
Right.
okay, no dramatic intent. However, guess what, Mike? You're wrong. We're not going to do a comedic bit. We're not going to do folly throughout the episode. We're going to hurt him right away, and he ain't fake hurt. His lungs are messed up. They're gone. They're not messed up. They're disappeared. So it's like a completely weird, awesome sci-fi premise before I know anything else, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, and the terror here is psychological, right? Because, like, if you blow off his arm or whatever, just the concept of having your lungs deleted and you literally can't take your next breath,
Yeah.
absolutely terrifying as a concept.
I guess I did have sort of like a wormhole. So I won't spoil it, but, we come to the resolution of what we're going to do in a bit. But there's like a good at least hour or two that happens before we go to the hologram of it all. So how are they keeping him alive currently?
They're oxygenating his cells in some fashion.
All right. I guess I missed that bit.
Yeah, they do explain we are doing some sort of infusion, something.
But that is not something they can do permanently?
No,
Okay.
it's more of like an emergency Band-Aid sort of than anything that is sustainable. So they're able to stabilize him, sort of, but he's not going to live long without lungs. Oof. And they were apparently beamed out by said Gizmo. A horrified Kes arrives, and the doctor says artificial lungs won't work because we don't know this species well enough to tailor them that way. Another consequence of being 75 years away. He needs his originals back, or he's toast.
Oh, right, and they can't replicate anything that they don't have in their system.
That's right. We don't know this alien physiology.
See, technobabble works for me when it works.
Well, and again, you're setting up this amazing concept, and then you are subtly, just little bits here and there, we are dealing with the consequences. And I think that in the same way that the Dominion War gave weight to everything in Deep Space Nine, even if it was, in the background or sort of subtextual, in this case, being so far away, it starts to seep in the consequences of that, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and it makes it really impactful. The stakes feel higher because of this. So I love that. We also see more of the sickbay set, which is really impressive. And now that JD explained, you really do, especially in engineering, you see that this is built on the architecture of the Next Generation, which is fine because it makes sense that there would be some sort of a standardized layout in Starfleet to some level. But they really have made it specifically Voyager, and I think it looks great.
It looks awesome, and I'm gonna bring up 2 aesthetic points this episode, and they're both on this set. The first one is this: the illusion of complexity is often really subtle and effective. Here's a great example. Look in the ceiling. Architectural angles and lines. So we're seeing lines running perpendicular to each other, but not 90 degrees to our camera. And so it gives the illusion of architectural complexity. Also, it's practical. We can pull those lights out. We can shoot from the top.
Right.
We can do all kinds of stuff. We can change the lighting in and out. And yet, we're getting different color options. We got the blue runners. We've got just the static fluorescent. And it's awesome. And then the computer screens giving other visual lighting, just adding complexity. Guaranteed, you zoom that out, it's not that deep. But it looks very busy. It looks like things are happening. It looks like when they shoot a newsroom on TV and it looks like all this chaos back there.
Right.
That's what's being simulated, and it's working.
And it allows you to use the lighting as light on both sides of the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Right? It's light in canon, but it's also lighting the scene as you're filming it. And of course, there are no straight angles in the walls because the ship is not a box. Mm-hmm. And so it continues to remind you you're on a ship.
Front lit, side lit.
Right.
And what I love about lighting, and always boggles my mind when I see a production, if you were on set, it would be incredibly bright right now. Just absolutely mind-bogglingly bright, and you would never imagine that at the final shot would look this dramatic. But that's how it works.
It's super bright in the rooms that we're in right now.
Yeah, really bright. Yeah.
Like our desks are crazy. Like if I look up to my lights above my head, like it's like almost blindingly light, but it doesn't appear that way.
I'm not a lens photography guy. It's not my bag, but I only have a small working of ISO and shutter speed and stuff like that, but that's it, right? It's really low ISO, super lit, bright lit, something like that.
Well, and again, this
all my
is
photography
where,
people hit us up down below.
As we talk about with Sean, they put in the work here to light this like a feature film. Mm-hmm. The lighting is feature film level. The camera is a feature film camera. It's a 35 millimeter camera, which allows all of this. And you don't see that on a lot of television at that era. So Janeway takes an away team back to the surface, and they eventually discover the hidden hallway. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Parris struggle through their lack of equipment and Parris's lack of knowledge. Kes offers one of her lungs for Neelix, but they're incompatible. But then, the Doctor has a brilliant idea. He's a holographic person. What about holographic lungs? Really cool. I love the sci-fi. Like you said, when the technobabble makes sense and it works, who knows, the details of it, whatever. But the first level of logic pass, it's really smart. No one has thought of this before, and it's really smart. And you start to see the benefits of having a holographic person because they're bringing the holographic person's point of view and are thinking outside of the box because you are a hologram already. It's you're using your differences as an asset as opposed to a liability. And this is where Star Trek is Star Trek. That's the whole point, right?
Yes, 100%. I'm sorry, my brain went to a separate point. But I'm sort of a little confused as to why we're making Tom bad at everything.
Why are they making him a dumbass?
He's not good medical assistant. He's not very smart when it came to the last
temporal mechanics.
Yeah. So is that a running gag? Didn't we bring him for a reason?
He's a pilot. He flies the ship.
But he has not flown the ship.
He has not as of yet. Well, he does. He flies it into the iceberg. He flies into the iceberg today.
Now, that said, I think one of the small super achievements of this episode is all we've built up with Kes and the Doctor over the past couple episodes that just seems like these side scenes is feeding into a narrative beat here, which I think is cool.
Yeah, well, we're starting to develop these characters and these relationships with each other.
Just now I remember back to Deep Space Nine, we were like, oh, and you're learning about the Odo-Kira friendship and how that develops and how long that ran. And now, so it's seeing the fledgling stuff here is cool. And this is a good one. I really enjoy them.
No, for sure. And Tom is interesting. He's the hot young white guy written by white guys who probably wish they were hot and young.
Yeah, but he's not given the Julian pass in the beginning.
No.
They were trying to see if maybe that would stick. It's not like everybody's falling for him. That's not what's happening.
No. Well, he has a couple of he has a couple of good moments here, but yeah, they are definitely playing him as the dumbass.
Yeah, he's sort of like the fool that allows for exposition for us to explain the ideas,
And I think that might be your explanation there.
Yeah, you're right.
Because in both of the cases where he's been dumped, temporal mechanics, and for this, someone's got to stand in for the audience and allow to have it make sense for people to explain stuff. So that's sort of what he's been at this point. It's a very cool idea, but Neelix is going to be completely locked in place in order to keep his lungs attached correctly. So he will be literally frozen, which is kind of terrifying. And Parris, in a good moment, I think tries to comfort Kes. and say, look, this might be temporary. There's a lot going on here, which I thought was well done. So on the planet, Janeway and the crew discover a room filled with various stored organs and body parts. Although Neelix's lungs are not there. It's also the source of the dilithium signatures.
Hey, can I time out and go back for a second?
Yeah.
To give this shout out. What's Kessa's actress name?
Jennifer Lean.
She has been doing this, and I've just been so consumed by the wig that I haven't given her credit for it. Mm-hmm. Not everyone can achieve it. She's really good at not having huge facial expressions like this guy, but still her subtlety and her stares and where she chooses eye contact tell a lot of story, and she's really good at it.
It's an interesting character because she is so intensely grounded for a 3-year-old.
Huh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is it is interesting that the energy that she brings to this as like the wise, calm one, even in these crazy straits that we have seen her in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think the idea of finding a room filled with alien body parts, that's kind of creepy.
Awesome. Yeah.
They really do lean into the creepy here.
And it's well done. And I think that anytime you walk into like a lab of like baby pigs or crazy organs and stuff, it's always cool and sci-fi-y. And I would like to think in my canon there's a Klingon double member somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
In a
gotta
jar.
be the double dong.
Yeah.
The DD. So now I always misread this. I've seen this episode a bunch of times, but I always thought that the dilithium signatures that they picked up on to go and find this place were intentionally false readings there to lure them to get body parts. I thought it was a trap, but it's not. It's just that this is how they're powering their stuff. Mm-hmm. So they pick up a life sign and make chase through the caves. They get a shot in, and they force the guy to drop his scanner deal. But it's too late. The alien beams on board their ship and warps away. And the chase is on. Back in sickbay, the doctor turns on the holographic lungs, and ta-da, it works. Cool. So in Act 2, Voyager chases the alien ship, and they happen to be evenly matched in speed, which is very convenient story-wise, but seems very unlikely considering the speeds you're going at warp, that the difference between warp 7.2 and 7.1 is a vastly different amount of speed. But whatever, we're going to let that be because that's Star Trek. That's always been the case. So the doctor explains to the now conscious Neelix what his new deal is. He tells him, you're stuck here, possibly for the rest of your life. And he might need to work on his bedside manner just a touch, because he gives this information pretty callously. Neelix is understandably not thrilled, and begins immediately wanting to redecorate the ceiling. Which is a funny bit. It is... I don't know if it is a lack of imagination or a sort of a Star Trek trope that he wouldn't just want an iPad above him. Right? Because it's like on TV, you can't acknowledge that people watch TV. Because, like, you would want... Like, if I'm trapped up here staring at the ceiling, I don't really care about the drapes or a painting. Give me something to process information through.
Yeah, I totally agree. I didn't think about that. You know why I thought about it? Because for me, when I'm in a very high stress situation, when my stress level is very high, my OCD emerges.
Oh, sure.
And all I can notice the hole in the wall. Why is that shoe over there? Why am I blah, blah, blah. And so I just, my connection instantly went to, oh, that's what's happening here. He's hyperfixating because the stress level, but you're right. Well, I would probably, there's no reason he shouldn't be watching Netflix right now.
I would be watching Netflix.
Yeah. And also, like, there's a small nitpick for me is that, and we're going to continue on with that beat in a moment, but the timeline is inconsistently leveled to him in that we're out looking. We have encountered the species thus far. Like, there is not a 0% chance. In fact, it's very much not zero that we can maybe fix this.
Get it back.
But it could be temporary. But they play the stakes early on that it's the permanence of it, and so there's a bit of a mismatch there.
I agree. I think we all jump to the this is forever immediately, and I know I get it. From storytelling,
I get it from his perspective.
Right, he's panicking and afraid that it will be. But I would be... Well, you don't want to give false hope, but you also don't want to give false lack of hope in some way.
From the Doctor, I can also understand it because he's... I don't know that his AI emotions have been fully realized, you know?
Oh, sure, for the Doctor. No, absolutely. Like, his terrible bedside manner makes perfect sense. He's an emergency. He's not a long-term... Bedside manner doesn't matter in a triage time.
And also, you don't want to remove the efficacy of the drama of the pursuit, the chase for the away team. So it's a tricky needle to thread as for writers, and I'm not sure they land the plane exactly. But
I think out of convenience, because you want the stakes to be high for both of those things. And the story we're trying to tell about Neelix sort of necessitates him not like, oh, cool, I'll just hang out for a week and we'll get this sorted. But yes, you see the seams a little bit there. So he asked the Doctor if he is programmed to sing. More on that later. We get to see a lot more detail in his makeup, which is remarkable. And like those eyebrows, like every single one of those hairs has to be hand laid.
And a props team, look at this. He's just wearing a stupid little prop on his head. But what have they done, Keith? It's not just the LED lights. They make it reflective, so now we get different multiple dimensions and transparent, and it's just got this whole thing happening.
Just great, and you can do so much with some real simple stuff. Looks great. More annoying is he abruptly becomes intensely jealous of Parris, which is weird because the only interaction that we have seen between Parris and Kes, Parris was perfectly nice and professional. Also, Neelix was unconscious. Neelix did not see this interaction.
So I'm going to do some heavy lifting here.
Okay, lift, sir.
With the conclusion that I completely agree. It is like probably the biggest critique I have on the episode proper.
Yes.
I think what they're trying to capture here, just like to add the weight here, is his panic of the permanency. I have seen firsthand. My dad was sick and dying for a bit of time. And I saw him go through stages, even with my mom. They had a pretty shitty relationship, I should say. Go through this journey of intense jealousy, then rage, and then acceptance, and then asking her to move on when he was gone. And then I've seen people with cancer diagnoses or who lose limbs, or I've heard stories of people who go through this, right, with their partners. Like, you don't want to be with me, you don't want to take care of me, just leave me, like, go. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that that's the kind of story they wanted to try to also give to this humanity. Remember when we saw that episode we love so much with Nog dealing with his injury and going through all that? I think they were trying to basically do a 30-second version of that here. But it's like we said, it's too soon in the show because we don't know the characters enough to know the relationship that well and all that. Right. By all intents and purposes, Kes has been nothing but the most loyal, supportive partner thus far, and they didn't even show the beat with Parris for him to be upset with. So it doesn't work, but I'm going to say that's what they were going for.
For sure, and I think you're probably right. The consequence is all we know about their relationship is Neelix is in a possessive and controlling relationship with a 3-year-old. It's not great,
right? I hate to say this out loud. I really do. Remind me the 3-year-old thing. What is that?
They only live for 8 years. Ocampans only live for 8 years.
Oh.
So she is an adult by Ocampan
by
standards,
proxy. Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, they age in dog years.
Well, I mean, so maybe they mature in dog years too. We don't know.
For sure. I'm just saying it. Just saying it. It is
But
also...
I mean, at least, that's a great... I have to check my words. For those who are scared of monogamy, Ocampa is a good partner. You got a timetable, baby.
What you're saying is it would be really good if all of our relationships died quickly, so that way we can bang more chicks.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think marriages every 5 years should have like a sit down reconsideration.
You have to re-accept the terms of service.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't necessarily agree or disagree. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a weird beat.
It's a weird beat. And Kes, which I actually liked, shuts it right the hell down. And she draws the boundary.
Yep.
And then acknowledges how scared he must be.
Yeah, Keith and I, for those of you who didn't watch our Deep Space Nine, Keith and I love realistic and mature relationships. And from her standpoint, this is a great exercise of that.
It's a really bad beat for him. I think it's a really good beat for her. Mm-hmm. She's strong. She's clear. She draws the boundary, but then shows empathy and wisdom and is able to understand the position he's in.
Who amongst us has not behaved irrationally in high-stress situations in a relationship? We all been there. The problem is if you show that too early in a show where you have not yet developed the rapport with characters, it leaves...
That's all we know about him.
It leaves a bad
point.
First taste.
It's a tough thing because we haven't established what is this relationship.
I mean, he can't cook and he overreacts, so that's not good.
It's like it is hard to understand what a healthy Kes wants from Neelix. Not that there can't be. We just haven't seen why she would be with him at this point. Other than she's sort of like the martyr situation here. Yeah, so we'll find out more. We're gonna let this develop as it goes. We're only commenting on what we have seen so far. So on the bridge, B'Elanna has done an analysis on the alien scanner itself. Kate,
she needs her readers, baby.
I noticed this, but in the screenshot, it's really funny. It's like,
I've got a microscope up in here.
What? It's a really funny take. But it's a highly advanced medical scanner, and it is designed to help extract organs. Then the alien ship arrives.
Hold on, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because they make a very awesome point that it puts our tricorder to shame.
Yes.
So it's super advanced. My question is this. Does the Prime Directive preclude us from keeping this and harnessing it and using it?
No. The Prime Directive
is just like timeline, right? Warp drive.
It is okay. So there are two elements to it. One, we do not interfere in other people's stuff, primarily. They can interfere with us. We can learn from them. We just don't want to mess with the natural course of their evolution. And this is always true, but it is doubly, triply, profoundly true when they are at early stages of development. So when we're with the Klingons, we're, sort of at equal levels of power and technological advancement, so we can sort of interact with them as co-equals. But if we come across a planet that has not yet discovered warp drive, not only do we not interfere, we are not allowed to be visible to them. We are not allowed for them to even know that we exist. So that is really what it primarily does. But if we find a new gizmo, we can keep that gizmo.
Because that's big news if we're on the search for resources.
Yeah, we should probably keep this gizmo. Yeah, for sure. So then the alien ship arrives at a giant asteroid and goes inside. The hole is tight, but as Janeway says, what the hell? Let's go in.
I like your style.
Yeah. So in Act 3, they slowly work their way into the asteroid, but their sensors are iffy. Asteroid looks great because it's real. In sickbay, Neelix has redecorated the area around his bed with drapes, flowers, and other baubles. Like I said, I'd want an iPad, or, you've got to think, with a holodeck, your VR goggles are pretty damn good at this point. That's what I'd want.
Let's just say they're preserving power and resources. They don't want to
there you go. That makes sense. But my iPad, I can charge my iPad with my little solar thingy.
Get out of here.
Yeah, always. So, but he does ask the doctor to itch his forehead. And Neelix, understandably...
Great little sound effect there, by the way, when he does it. You know that was a Sean somewhere.
There was a gym somewhere. Sean at this point was probably in the background. But I need to text him and ask him what his caffeinated flirpolas are.
Hurry up.
So he's understandably very lonely and claustrophobic, and the doctor has very little sympathy. Neelix starts to really freak out, and the doctor is forced to sedate him. This felt very real and very understandable in his situation. Yes?
You know what? We'll talk about it later. Forget it.
Okay. So, back on the bridge, they discover a large chamber in the asteroid. And inside that is the alien ship. But, as you can see on the screen here, there is a weird defensive system that has turned the whole area into a hall of mirrors. There are dozens of both ships all around, and we don't know which one of them is real. And they're in danger of bumping into the walls. Really cool,
super cool
defensive system here.
Mm-hmm.
In sickbay, Kes is there trying to help the doctor and Neelix. And with Neelix asleep, she checks in with the doctor himself. And she can tell that he's upset. And he is. He says, first, they tell me there's no doctor, so I have to be on call 24 hours a day. And then they tell me there are no nurses, so I have no one to assist me. I thought Tom Parris was assigned to you. Like I said, no one to assist me. And now I have a patient with severe and possibly long-term emotional problems, and there's no counselor on board. I am the emergency medical supplement, a supplement, that is all. I wasn't programmed for any of this. This is just unacceptable. But she reassures him and says you're doing a good job, and tells him to keep learning, just like the rest of us.
I have so much to say.
Yeah.
So first, let me start practical. I said I had two scenes I wanted to point out. This is the other one.
Yeah.
Once again, the illusion of complexity. All you got to do is put some mirror. See that glass that divides the foreground from the background? It adds so much depth. It adds reflection. Why don't we do it more? We should be looking through glass all the time. It is awesome. It's so great. It works.
What a gorgeous set. Yeah. 2,
we're 4 episodes in, and Kes is a better counselor than Ezri ever was. She's awesome. This relationship, awesome. Not everybody does. I loved Vic because I like the exploration of the idea of humanity and conscience and ethics and learning within an AI symbiote, which is very prescient to our current day. Whereas we're in a very timeline where it's very scary. Here, it's sort of comforting and human, and there's something sweet about it.
Deeply human.
Yeah. And Data, same kind of idea, but it's different with the holodeck. I don't know why it's different, but it feels different. And their relationship and her encouragement of his humanity, even in her small form, and it's very cool. Whatever alchemy they're bubbling here is incredible. Last point, the performances are great, and Picardo already has shown he can do. I'm the comedic relief, with the one-liners and the zingers, but also this really dramatic, nurtured sort of exploration of what is my role as the doctor, as a temporary doctor.
Dealing with existential questions and quandaries here. What am I?
His imposter syndrome also speaks deeply to me. So I'm finding so much identity in this cast already, and it's working.
Well, absolutely. And the doctor's journey from an emergency tool and then discovering I have a soul And what does all of this mean? What is my role? Can I learn? Can I adapt? And she's saying, yeah, you can learn. You can grow. You don't know everything, and that's okay. Here's a chance to better yourself. And is that not what we're all trying to do? Yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
It's great. And we are just scratching the tiniest surface of it, and it's really...
Like that, once again, we talk about like images that capture performance.
Yeah.
You want to be an actor? There's got to be something going on behind the eyes, and you can tell when it is, and you can tell when it isn't.
You heard it here first. Bob Picardo, good actor.
We'll keep an eye on for this guy.
Keep an eye. Keep an eye. Keep an eye on this character who was supposed to be just sort of a couple times a year sort of a situation.
Well, we've seen that before.
We certainly have.
Looking at you, Rom, Nog.
No, look at you, half of the cast of Deep
Damar,
Space
yeah.
Nine. So in engineering, Seska notes that on top of the Hull of Mirrors, there's a mysterious power drain happening. Another trap in the asteroid. And these two traps work really smartly together. Because you're trapped, you're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, you don't notice, meanwhile, your battery's draining while you don't even know, you're not even safe to, like, move in a direction. Very smart. Tuvok explains that they can't shoot the thing that is dampening their power because the walls bounce energy around like a bullet, and it could bounce back and hit them. Chakotay has the idea. Shoot the lightest phaser they have like a laser pointer and see where it stops reflecting. So smart. Such a cool visual effect.
Execution.
Like, cool, right?
Execution.
Like, so fun. And this allows them to find the real ship. And from that, they beam 2 life signs on board. They arrive in the transporter room to discover 2 Frankenstein monsterish aliens wearing dark cloaks.
Is it me, or is, like, technically this episode, we'll get to the episode, but now the team feels like they're finding an identity and flexing. I think Joshua asked us last week, hey, what do you think of the identity of the lighting design? And I was a little hesitant, and they hadn't found it yet. Now it feels like they're finding their footing. The design across the board in this episode feels like a flex.
Big time. This is, well, and to speak for the poor costume and designers, that kind of stuff. In this episode, we have 2. Last episode, we had like 40 people we had to do. And that is a big difference. Plus, you had to build a city and like 5 different locations. You don't have to do any of those things here. It's almost a bottle episode. But flex they did. Look how freaking cool that is. So in Act 4, we meet the Viddians. They're a species of aliens who have been dealing with the Phage, a horrible virus that almost wiped them out 2,000 years ago. And the disease continues to attack their genetic codes and cellular structures. So they have to search the galaxy, harvesting replacement organs from anyone they encounter. They have advanced medical tech, but they still can't overcome the Phage. What a cool and terrifying concept.
Yeah, but it's even cooler. It's even cooler than the concept, because A to Z would say, okay, well, over those 2,000 years or whatnot, they've become these horrible monsters that are evil or vicious. But no, they've maintained their sense of guilt and sort of shame throughout it. It's almost generational. Which adds this whole other color of compassion and or empathy, and yet, it's just so much complexity, and they do it all in one scene.
Doing all of the desperation. But here's the thing. Not just one scene, one look. Janeway says, I have great sympathy for what your race has endured, but I cannot allow you to keep the organs you removed from one of our crew members. And if you go back and watch her face before she says this line, Mulgrew's acting is
She brings
amazing.
it right here.
She clearly demonstrating 2 emotions at the same time, instantly. She has empathy, she lets the implications of that wash over her, and then resolve and anger for what you are doing. Empathy and anger in just, like, it's literally this fast, like, and that's it. It's all it takes, and all of that is there on her face.
And when you have an actress of this caliber, what that allows a director to do. And it might not have been the director, she might have made these choices, and this sounds very binary or maybe over-specific, but it works. Sometimes you need specificity to the point of, okay, where is my shame? Where is my anger? And you place it places so that her look here is clearly distinctly at a place. She's pointing the emotion somewhere, whereas here her empathy is direct.
Right. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Empathy, or that's okay. No, that's fear.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, excuse me. Go for it.
So yeah, go back. Then you have you have like fear, anger, and empathy, and it's all back to back to back. And she feels all of it, and they're all legitimate, and they're all righteous, and she has them all. And
look at that uplight there too. Oh, so good.
What a relief it must be for them to be able to hand that heavy lifting.
Oh yeah.
To like, I could have done it. Just get me out of this wig. I will show you. I have all of those.
And look, even her looks to them have specific choices. Oh, it's so good.
And she has a different relationship with each of them.
He can't make eye contact. This one, I mean, there's a lot of good direction in this scene.
Yeah, well, Weinrich Colby, good at what he does. So we find out, alas, Neelix's lungs are now integrated into one of them, the nice one, and they can't be removed without killing him. They try to explain that they explain that they try to take organs only from the dead, but sometimes they have no choice and have to take them from the living. And Janeway says, so now I am left with the same choice you made, whether to commit murder to save a life or to allow my own crewmen to die while you breathe air through their lungs. And he says, it must be impossible for you to understand how any civilized people could come to this. Before the Phage began, we were known as educators and explorers, a people whose greatest achievements were artistic. I myself am a sculptor of note in my world. All I can say is that when your entire existence is at stake, these things can happen. And are we not seeing that in the universe right now?
Ugh, Janeway. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to weigh into this. Like,
yeah.
But I just there's the stuff going on in Iran right now. This episode, and then remembering back to a line from the end of Deep Space Nine. Even in the most evil regime, or the most despicable circumstance or whatnot, the choice to just wipe them off the planet, the implications that you're not just killing the evil, right? There's culture, there's art, there's everything, there's technology, there's science, there's learning. Forget about the innocence and life and children, and like not forget about, obviously, like that assumed. It's just
not the piece of your soul you lost.
Well, yeah,
to do these things.
There's just culture that is, I just don't think we often consider. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and once again, I think
what desperation will do to a culture over a period of time,
and just survival, and
yeah,
just a great example of using science fiction conceptually to highlight the difficult moral landscape that being alive in this existence it pertains.
The impossibility of existing in this universe and try to be moral. Like, it's...
You'll also find, me and Keith say this often, great example, I'm so good with these screenshots. You could show me all the Oscars you want for people weeping and crying and being hysterics. We love Avery Brooks and that scene, but you show me someone fighting it, bringing it to the brink, but not letting it jump the precipice, that is a strong performance.
Yeah, it's active. She can't. She's the captain. And so she must govern from a compassionate place, but she must remain strong. That is what the captain must do. She's shown herself to be a pretty darn good captain thus far.
Yeah, who knew? Keep an eye out for Kate Mulgrew. DJ Mulgrew.
DJ Mulgrew. Yeah, could be a successful DJ. So, interestingly, this Viddian accepts that Janeway may kill him and says, I get it, and you know what? If you do kill me, it's going to bring me some peace.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
But Janeway can't. And she says, I can't be... She says, I can't begin to understand what your people have gone through. They may have found a way to ignore the moral implications of what they are doing, but I have no such luxury. I don't have the freedom to kill you to save another. My culture finds that to be a reprehensible and entirely unacceptable act. If we were closer to home, I would lock you up and turn you over to my authorities for trial. But I don't even have that ability here, and I am not prepared to carry you forever in our brig. So I see no other alternative but to let you go. Take a message to your people. If I ever encounter your kind again, I will do whatever is necessary to protect my people from this harvesting of yours. Any aggressive actions against this ship or its crew will be met by the deadliest force. Is that clear? I mean, what an impossible choice. And an impossible choice that Janeway has to deal with, that Picard never had to deal with, that Sisko never had to deal with. She has to be the judge and jury, or decide not to do it.
I mean, we did have the entire fate of the changelings at our grasp. We had the cure, and we had the choice to choose to use it or not.
Well, but what Sisko and Picard have are people they can hand that decision to.
Yeah, you're right. So
they
basically,
have Starfleet. They have judges. They have juries. They have a legal system. Janeway doesn't have any of those, right?
So she's saying Neelix is
dead as hell.
Yeah, and she's saying like I can't punish you, right? The only punishment I can give, the only punishment she can give out in this situation is death. It's death or you are free. It's a very binary choice because of the situation that they're in that is unique to Voyager and unique to her, which helps inform a lot of her decisions. However, we're not going to let Neelix die. The nicer Viddian wants to try to help Neelix. Ooh, it's the bat lung sucker.
Yeah, it's the bat lung sucker, 100%, right?
And guess what? They can help because they have more advanced tech. They're able to transplant one of Kes's lungs into Neelix and save him. Hooray.
So they have an adapter, basically.
Yeah, they've got an adapter for that. Mm-hmm. And it works. And later, he's saved. Hooray. And later, the doctor tells Kes that he wants to start training her to be his assistant.
So you wouldn't consider this we reset everything, because
no,
he's now got an implanted lung. She's got one lung, and we've definitely everybody remembers what happened.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No, we went through this, and we have introduced certainly a interesting chess piece on the board of the Delta Quadrant. For sure.
Oh, looks so good.
And we leave the
hole.
The hole. We leave the hole. We exit the hole, as all things must eventually. Yeah. So there is Phage. I think it is time to go into our little after show. We call the...
For distinguished achievement and unintended consequences, Keith and Mike present the Salamaremmies! Tiny baby puppies and salamanders, leaving little orphans across the universe. Welcome to the Salamaremmies!
I forget those bumpers until I watch them again. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. So I didn't do a graphic for it, but I think we should do our new segment, the rewrite. Is there anything that you would rewrite in this?
Probably just that. I would either rework, rewrite, or edit out that scene with Neelix. I mean, I think we have enough of his fear and anxiety and such that we don't need the bit with Kes and the Tom Parris of it all. It's like it feels like a mar on an episode that didn't need it, and it's so close to being like knocking it out of the park. So I'd probably write that differently.
Yeah, I totally agree. And here's how I would do it. So I would have all of our heroes going to him, hey, you know what? Like, it looks bad now, but this is temporary. You know, we solve crazy problems like that all the time. We're gonna find them. We're gonna learn your physiology to adapt you new long, whatever. All the sensible things all the possible ways that we would normally solve this. But him, in his claustrophobia and his panic, wouldn't believe it. He'd be like, you know, I don't know you. I don't know that you've done all these things. I'm going to be trapped here. Oh God, you know, and deal with the same stuff. Get rid of the jealousy stuff. That's ugly. But you know, have him go through all of those emotional beats. You don't have to have everybody pretend like this is forever. The person who's literally be constrained, physically constrained in an absolute way for 10 minutes. You will be panicking. We don't need to add anything to make that panic happen.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you.
Other than that, I think I don't have a lot of notes for this one. Let's go to best moment.
There's so many good ones. I'm going to bring up a little one. It's probably not the best moment, but I'm going to choose it here to highlight because I forgot to bring it up earlier. There's a cool moment here that sort of shows a lot of the things we were talking about, a lot of the needles being thread. Where Tom is basically, where they give us the science fiction principle of the holographic lungs, the temporary holographic lungs. And then Tom's like, well, how's that even work, right? So Neelix does a slap on him, and then he's like, hit me back. Which is a comedic beat for you're being hysterical.
Sure.
Which is like a Stooges beat. But then they pivot that to being how he explains the sci-fi of it. And it clicked for dumb viewer. I was like, yeah, okay, I buy it now, right?
Yep.
And I just thought that was such as we've been talking about this whole episode, sort of the theme of it is, how do you shorthand huge things, right? Speaking of rewrites, you really, like, the premise of this, I think, could hold together a movie. Like, it is that dense a science fiction principle. So they have 45 minutes, so they can either hoke it up but they don't. And I don't ever think they're talking down to us in any way. They find incredible shortcuts visually and scene-wise that trim up the concepts for us. And that's a perfect example of one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's great from a practical standpoint. I think there's a lot of great moments. I think the Doctor, you know,
100%.
learning, he needs to keep learning. I think that's great. I think for me, it's DJ Mulgroove's acting while she makes the decision: do I kill or set free? In that moment, I have to kill somebody, and I think that just her ability to tell that story with her face and her eyes while still remaining strong, still remaining the captain, just a masterclass in being able to do that in just a split second. So I think it's just, you know, and it brings up a bigger question. Like this episode covers an awful lot of ground.
Yeah, dude.
Like we go a lot of different places and cover a lot of stuff. Just really good stuff. That's my favorite moment.
So Keith, I can't wait. Shall we?
Yes.
Fly in.
Do it.
With rainbow crap everywhere.
Slurpolas!
Set a new course. There's
Caffeinated Slurpolas.
in that nebula.
Caffeinated Slurpolas! Caffeinated Slurpolas! Caffeinated Slurpolas! Caffeinated Slurpolas! Yeah! Caffeinated Slurpolas! Take what you want! Caffeinated Slurpolas! Some caffeinated Slurpolas! What do you get? Caffeinated Slurpolas!
Wow.
Dear viewers, I make you a promise right now. There's going to come a time, definitely by season 2, maybe even in a couple weeks, where Keith's going to be like, I'm going to make a version that's shorter. and I'm gonna never play it.
Well, I mean,
I can hear the bit where you would cut it.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Before we go to that extra vamp.
Yeah.
But no, it's just what it should be.
What you don't know is there's a long version of it. And also what you don't know, speaking of reduce, reuse, recycle, I borrowed this theme from a wrestling theme I wrote for your brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the Ranger On?
No. That's his tag team thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Manimal Maniacal Glee. Because he wanted to do a
60s
Batman
surf rock thing. Oh, it is a very Batman.
I just rebuilt the Batman theme in a way that was not copyrightable.
Amazing.
And so I reduced, reused, recycled on that one.
All right, so I'm going to attempt to not be so hyperbolic. That's your one. That's my one. So does this bring me back then? No, it doesn't. So I have to learn a button to bring us back.
We can never go home.
So that does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but I know we said the first episode was good at describing the premise of the show, but this feels like maybe the first time we see a fingerprint. This feels very much like a show, a writer's room, a cast that is starting to recognize what their identity is, what the show is, how to tell what kind of stories we want to tell and how we want to tell them. At least maybe that's wishful thinking, because that's what I hope, because I love this episode. I think it's fascinating. I thought the pacing was almost perfect. I never felt like we belabored a scene. I never felt like a beat was missing. We get to the... they showed the shadowy figure in the beginning. We could have waited the whole episode. They sort of do wait the whole episode, but there's enough chase sequences and smart, our search for them and the way we get to them is all paced out well. When we finally meet them, it's not a letdown. They look right. Their story is interesting. Their stakes are very clear very quickly. Our stakes are very clear very quickly. The Sophie's Choice is made, and then... Yes, we let everybody off the hook. We Deus Machina it because of their technology, but the choice was made, right? And I love that Janeway, in almost every episode we've seen, has been the gravity of the weight of the captainhood has never been exposed so quickly on a show than it is here. Every week, she is faced with some sort of a choice that's going to affect the lives of everyone. And because of where we are and our resource limitation, that's probably going to continue, I would imagine. So, awesome. Interesting relationship developments. The Kess doctor of it all. The doctor character journey. The Kess character journey. Neelix, at least he's not going to just be a comedy, right? He's not just a Ferengi episode. He's fair game too, which is something we learned. Awesome. Also, I meant to mention in the watch-along, we don't get to hear a lot from Tuvok in this episode, but when we do, his way to communicate, there's really interesting Vulcan snark he has underneath just the logic.
Oh.
It's super
Lots
subtle.
Of shade. Tuvok shade needs to be a bumper.
It's super subtle, but it's there, and that's not easy, man, right? I mean, Nimoy was the king of it, but it's there, and it's super cool, and I wanted to mention that. So, I'm starting to see everybody. This is the first week I felt like, if I'm being 100%, the first week I felt I'm in. I've kind of made myself in the past few weeks because I just haven't been feeling it right, but this is the first week where, if we're using the relationship thing, I started to feel the flutters, and I was saying, oh, okay, there's something here that I'm really interested in. So this one's a knock it out of the park for me. I'm going to try to, like I said, I set the bar really high in Deep Space Nine. I started ranking things really high. But, where did I put it? Hold on, let me get... Okay, so I've been really into rubrics lately. So I've started a little rubric for myself where I'm thinking, 0 to, the 50s and 60s is something embarrassing happened, basically.
Fair.
But if you look at, the 50 to 60 as forgettable, 60 to 70 as solid but flawed, 70 to 80 is, good, memorable, here we are, 80s to 90s is like a strong episode, and 90 to 100 is like an all-timer. I feel like this has to, for me, it's reaching above good memorable. So I'm going to get into the 80s. Where have I been lately? Like, where have I been so far?
Thus far, you've been 80, 81, and 55.
I gave an 81 out?
To Parallax.
Okay, well, well, then this has to be 82 for me. I'll give it 83. 83 caffeinated flirbolas, maybe a double espresso even, just for a little sousson.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, and look, I said Voyager is a grower, not a shower, right? And
the grower inside of a jar in a lab.
Exactly. So, yeah, this is the first episode that really feels like a Voyager episode. I think that we're obviously the action is fun. I think that the character beats, I love seeing, the Doctor's development, but I think primarily we address our first moral quandary that is specific to Voyager, right? Because in a lot of ways, the Star Trek shows are about some sort of a overarching moral quandary, and the with Next Gen, it was about like, how do you apply logic to an illogical world? How can you use wisdom and being steadfast and be grounded? Deep Space Nine, it's more of a, how much do you bend your morals to be safe? Right? How can you what compromises do you need to make morally for the greater good? How do you achieve the greater good? And Voyager, it's how do you remain moral in a constant state of desperation and isolation? And we see Janeway wrestle with this, and I think that is what feels deeply Voyager. And I really enjoyed it, and I thought, like, aha, now you've got me thinking. Now the Viddian of it all, this is the first new species that I'm interested in. Like, ooh, give me more of this. Like, let's, this seems like a really interesting opportunity for an adversary, for an ally, something in between. They're scary. They're also, you can empathize with them. You can pity them. You can you can see the moral quandaries that they're dealing with. They're more in the Deep Space Nine place, right? Desperation, in terms of existential desperation. What moral compromises do you have to make to survive? That's interesting. The effects were really great, both from the the Viddian makeup effects, just top notch. Going into the asteroid and doing all of that, super cool. So I loved the sci-fi idea of the holographic lungs. I love the Doctor using his superpowers in a way that's unique to him. Loved all of that. Hated the Neelix jealousy thing. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Not cool. Didn't like it. Did empathize with the panic that Neelix, the claustrophobia Neelix is feeling. So I think it pushed us forward. I think we learned more about these characters. I think we learned more about the universe. It feels at this point in the process that there is more survival desperation in this quadrant than in ours. There's more abundance in ours. Maybe that's because of the Federation, maybe not, but it feels like it's a little bit more Wild Westy on this side, and that's interesting. And that it isolates us further because there's no Federation here to help us out. So all of that put together, I think it's a really strong episode. I think it sets us up for some interesting stuff, and it gets 87 caffeinated flirpolas from me. Fun. Really enjoyed this one. So, all right. I did have one thing, a learning opportunity for Janeway.
Okay.
And I think this comes from a little bit of the arrogance of Starfleet, who assume that we are more technologically advanced than everybody. We're so used to coming across a culture and they've never seen a transporter, or they've never whatever. We look like magic to them because we're powerful aliens and we have this huge thing. The one thing she didn't do is ask them for help. They offered help. Why didn't she oh, you have more advanced technology than us. You're clearly not evil. Is there any way you can help us? She assumed they couldn't. She assumed that she was at the top of the food chain technologically, and she was wrong. And had he not volunteered to help Neelix, it would have cost Neelix his life. And so I think that is... There is a journey for us to go on to show a little bit more humility now that we're not the big kids in the universe.
Great. That's great. I hope that's part of it.
Yeah. So there you go. Good fun. Next week, we will be talking about the episode The Cloud.
Oh, where was this in the universe?
I looked it up this time. This one got a 7.1 on IMDb, which only puts it at 105 out of 168 episodes.
Oh,
so
okay.
on the IMDb rating, this is a sub-average episode of Voyager.
Well, we liked it.
So put that wherever
Unfortunately,
you choose
what
to put
you'll
that.
come to learn is we are the definitive source for rankings.
We are the
so
definitive?
that's, I guess,
For sure.
IMDb was
So
wrong.
sorry, the IMDb is going to have to make some adjustments at this point. So there you are. Next week, The Cloud. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below. Give us a like. I think there's this. I'm going to sound so freaking old.
Well,
on YouTube, there is now a hype button, which I know. It's
less
sad.
old and just kind of cringe, but
Kind of cringe. It's super cringe.
hey,
However,
join the Discord if you're not sold on the Patreon yet. Maybe join the Discord. I don't know what's happening over there, but I imagine it's better than this.
give us a hype, because especially for small channels, and guess what? We tiny. It is actually specifically overpowered for tiny channels.
Oh, hype it up then.
So hit the hype, and it will actually help boost our videos. So
Keith,
that
will
would
you
be actually
promise
the
me
most
that you'll
useful
keep
thing
saying,
you can do.
hit that hype.
Smash that hype! Yeah!
Oh God, help us all. Hey, thanks everybody. Peace.
Thanks everybody. Next week, The Cloud. Till then, this has been Keith and Mike. Watch Star Trek Voyager. Thank you so much for watching K&M Entertainment. If you enjoyed our particular brand of nonsense, like and subscribe. Or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/K&M. Spell out that and. Hype!
We are very, very lost. We're lost in space. We're really lost. Very lost in space. Though we'll get back in 7 years or less. For now we're lost. Very lost in space.